But get the hell out of here. Even the great Dan Marino. Dan Marino was the last player, either the last player or the next to the last player picked in the NFL draft the year he was drafted, which leads me to believe that Dan Marino was on a team that was good. You know how I know they were good? Because they had just left the Super Bowl a couple years before, and they had a defense called the Killer Bees. They had a coach who had coached 2 other Hall of Fame quarterbacks. So please miss me with that bullshit about he's in a great situation. And now all of a sudden we need to wait all 16 weeks before we announce the quarterbacks. If Patrick Mahomes is benched tomorrow and they play my sorry ass Raiders, he should still win league. If he blow out his knee tomorrow, God, please don't let that happen. But if something happens to Patrick, he's the league MVP, man. If he has the worst game of his freaking life tomorrow, he's the league MVP. He has played better offensive football than anybody in the National Football League over the last 17 weeks. Stop trying to... it's not... the narrative is Drew Brees has never won one. And da-da-da-da-da. Get the fuck out of here, man. This ain't the National Football League Lifetime Achievement Award. Get the hell out. This is the most valuable player, a.k.a. the most outstanding player, unless some defensive dude unless some LT Jr. show up. That's it. The best quarterback award. Let's just call it what it is. It's the best quarterback of the year award. Unless you break Eric Dickerson record. Otherwise, you get it. Unless you blow out your knee and break Eric Dickerson record. You got to do something astronomically, galactically outstanding to be the quarterback of this. But now all of a sudden we want to critique this dude. You want to critique this dude. And speaking of critiquing and overanalyzing BS, why are we so worried about Ndamukong Suh poking I'm going to call him Pat Fitzgerald, Larry Fitzgerald in the eye? It was clearly a joke and 2 players playing. It's gone as far as I was watching the Shannon Sharpe show Friday. He said he talked to Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald, even before he talked to him, I heard Larry Fitzgerald say, man, y'all can stall him out. That's my man. Get up out of here. Shannon Sharpe calls him personally. He tells Shannon the same thing. He said, man, that's my man, but if he would have did that with malintent, we'd have had a problem out there on the field. They still don't want to let it go. Because, hey, I get it. You got a bad rep, but it don't make a difference what your reputation is. If the person you doing this to saying, hey, man, we was kidding, we was joking, we was clowning around, that's what it's going to be. Leave it alone. You know, the same way that the suspected white supremacist Skip Bayless always, he want to tell you what's going on in your head and he wants to have an MRI. You just blatantly calling people a lie unless it's Tom Brady. Speaking of Tom Brady, yeah, he texted them live. Exactly. Joe from Houston said he texted them live on the show. And it was still not good enough. Well, that ain't the way I play. Well, good. You went on the football field. You didn't get poked in the eye. Ndamukong Suh didn't do a damn thing to you. So, good. That ain't the way you play. We really don't remember asking you and your Mountain Dew drinking ass if that's what you want, if that's how you play. So, miss me. Speaking of Teddy Bridgewater, RC team, I'm disappointed, man, because the narrative is Teddy Bridgewater stays hurt. Teddy Bridgewater had one fluke injury. The same injury that Sanders had in practice, the same injury that Thomas had in practice, the same injury that Deshaun Watson had in practice. And if I thought about it a little longer, I could think about 10 to 15 more people who had a non-contact injury in practice, but now he's injury prone. Before Teddy Bridgewater had all those weapons, he was still leading that team to playoff victory. So he had them in playoff contention. So please, James Brown, please miss me with that nonsense. And because I'm so excited, let me finish my list, man. It is the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
The number 3. Let me, for those who missed the beginning of my list, the number 8 player on this list is one late great power forward center Roy Tarpley, unstoppable offensively, killer on the rebounds, one of the best players I've ever seen. He succumbed to his demons, got run out the league, got his life together, ended up dying years and years later in Europe, but he had been clean for quite some time. But Roy Tarpley, one of the best players I've ever seen. The next player on this list is my main man from Westerhouse, former Westerhouse Warrior, former Chicagoan Eddie Johnson, the voice of the Phoenix Suns. Next on the list is Manu Ginobili at number 7. You know who Manu Ginobili is. He is arguably, I don't care what nobody say, he is arguably the greatest European player I've ever seen. I understand y'all love Dirk. People love Dirk, and he scored all them points. But guess what? People forget that he had all those first-round exits after winning league MVP and stuff like that. He was getting popped. I ain't trying to hear it. Ginobili was big time most of the time. I know Big Illinois listening. He can co-sign that. Next on the list is my main man. Speaking of Big Illinois, Anthony Mason just happened to be his basketball hero. They even look a little bit alike. They used to play alike too. And they had no real handles though. He just had a decent jump. But Anthony Mason. Then you got the man Jay Crossover, one of the most explosive offensive forces off the bench in league history. By the way, Eddie Johnson, as far as I know, the last time I checked, he retired. That's the all-time leader in off the bench scorer in NBA history. And then you got Ricky Pierce at number 4. Number 3, the Microwave, named as the same as one of the hosts on Esquire Radio, but this Microwave is Vinny Microwave Johnson. Instant offense, instant defense, passing, dribbling. He can do whatever you need to be done. Vinny Johnson in the building. Number 2, the shit. Number 2, Michael Cooper. Michael Cooper was the Defensive Player of the Year. He should have won the 6th Man of the Award, but he never did. He used to run that Showtime fast break second to nobody but Magic Johnson. You would assume that Magic was still out there. He went from being a defensive stopper, 3-point shooter, to a honest-to-God backup point guard for Magic Johnson. Michael Cooper was clearly one of the best players off the bench in NBA history. And I got to go straight colonize on number 1. The man that the award was named after, the number 2 scorer. He's actually the number 1 scorer in Boston Celtics history. Don't tell me that they ain't trade Paul Pierce because they ain't want him to get it. Because that's why they traded him. They let him go because they knew he was going to break their record. They wanted the white boy to have that record. I'm just saying. But John Hondo Havlicek. Havlicek stole the ball. Havlicek won in the 60s, 70s. He's the unsung hero of that Celtic dynasty. A lot of people shocked that I put a white boy at the top, but even H-Rap got a little love for the people. But I ain't finna, like I always tell y'all, I'm gonna give you my opinion versus my preference. My opinion, that's the greatest off the bench dude ever. He retired. One of the greatest scorers, one of the greatest assists, man. Hey, by the way, he never lost in the finals either, and he got 7 rings. I'm just saying. Would I say John Havlicek better than Jordan? Yeah, I would say that the day after I get inducted into the National Basketball Hall of Fame, even though that don't even exist. No. But John Havlicek, I got to give it up to him. Havlicek stole the ball and all that nonsense that they talk about. Big ups to him. I got to give him his P's. He man H-Rap. I keep it real. I keep it funky, man. This dude was one of the best off the bench. He was a guard forward. He played a little point guard. NBA Finals, 8-time champion. 8-time champion. Never lost. Jordan lost. 13-time All-Star. I'll just pull them up real quick. 4-time All-NBA first team off the bench. 7-time All-NBA second team. 5-time on the All-Defensive team. 3-time on the All-Defensive second team. NBA All-Rookie team. His numbers retired. 35th anniversary team. 50th anniversary team. NCAA champion. The man retired with 26,000 points. 20 points a game, 6 rebounds a game, 4 assists a game. You can't do nothing with that. I got to get up. Microwave got his name from coming off the bench, filling in shows when I first started. Oh man, I told you, Mo, you ain't got to worry about that. I got a PhD in typo, man. Partly because I'm the worst speller in the history of civilization. So when you the worst speller in the history of civilization, a typo just looks normal. Facts. Fun fact, H-Rap can only spell his name. That's why his name is H-Rap, because he can't really spell Brian. But back to what I was talking about. Yeah, man, and my last topic of the evening is comeback player of the year. Everybody seems to want to give this to Andrew Luck. I am a tremendous Andrew Luck fan. I think Andrew Luck is one of the up-and-coming stars in the National Football League. He is doing way better than I thought he was. And without putting in any thought, I was going, hell yeah, man. Andrew Luck. He the man. But you know who we forgot? Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was on his way to Rookie of the Year last year. Deshaun Watson team, when he wasn't playing well, just like Andrew Luck, started off 0-4. Deshaun Watson, his defense let him down a few times this season. Otherwise, they would have walked away. Oh boy, you don't understand how bad. Hey, Big L, ask your man Big Illinois how bad I spell, and ask Joe from Houston how bad I spell. They text with me a lot. If they might have a master's in a typo just because I can't spell. Adrian spell like he played basketball. Sorry, damn, that's cold. You know, I don't spell that bad. I'm a football player. We all graduate, or most of us. Facts. But I'm gonna go with Deshaun Watson. Well, I got a chance to come clear too. Nah, not really. Not really. You know why I wouldn't give it to Joe from Houston? The reason I wouldn't give it to Watt, because he's sitting out there with two all pros. Whitney Merciless, well, three really. Whitney Merciless, the Honey Badger, and Jadeveon Clowney. He got too much help. He got too much help because, see, it's easier for them not to key in on him now because Jadeveon Clowney is dominating with the pass rush and with the run. Whitney Merciless is killing with the pass and the run and in coverage. The Honey Badger, he killing on all sides of the game and all aspects of the game. So I wouldn't give it to him per se. He has played he has had a very good year, Joe. Don't get me wrong. But if it's on me, I'm not giving it up to him. Not at all. But I don't have a whole lot of pushback. It's not because I'm not a J.J. Watt fan, because you and I both know I am not. Missed the first 3 quarters sack man. Because the next time he get a sack in a big time moment will be the first time he gets a sack when it counts. But with that being said, I'm going to give it to Deshaun Watson, man, because it's what I'm about to say. Andrew Luck did it the exact same way. Indianapolis and Houston started off real shitty. When both of those guys turned it up, when both of them turned it up, they both. Big L, we was talking about comeback player of the year. Well, you know what? You're right, because Whitney Merciless and Jadeveon Clowney was hurt last year, but not as much as him. But Whitney Merciless was definitely hurt. They mirrored each other. The difference is the Deshaun Watson team is about to win this division and Andrew Luck isn't. So if Deshaun Watson wins the division, I think he should get player of the year as well. That's just me. I mean, I know you are a Colt fan, and I know you're not really biased in regards to that. So I will give it. I'll give you. I don't want none of that tie shit. I don't. You know, I'm just not. I just think we've forgotten about Deshaun Watson, and I do believe that his defense has let him down on a couple of games. And I'm quite sure Andrew Luck fans will say the exact same thing. And like Big L said, he's not even the best defender on his team, which really doesn't mean you should be comeback player of the year. But I would say I would give that award to Deshaun Watson for that reason. And like I was saying, the Black Monday thing is a real slap in the face. Slap in the face, because why is it Black Monday? Luck is the great white hype. You think so, Big L? Please explain why. Because I think I understand why when we look at him on the surface, we will give him the great white hype title, because they overhype and overrate most white boys when it comes to the league. Like this dude, you know, the dude up in Minnesota, they call him one of the best receivers in the league. Okay, I got my man Joe from Houston hitting the phone. Joe from Houston, holla at your boy. Talk to me about your team, man. on the